I did the thing too. I stayed in the dorm all 4 years of college, and then I graduated. As soon as graduation came around, I was flooded with questions and advice. Are you gonna go back to school? You should stay home and save your money. Moving out right now is a terrible idea. Have you seen the state of the economy? Get roommates, don't get roommates. Everyone seemed to have an opinion about what I should do next. And honestly, it was overwhelming. But despite all of that, I decided to move out. Now that I've experienced it for myself, I want to help you filter out through all of the noise, think about what matters most, and make the best decision for you. The first thing I want to make clear is that I was not forced to move out. I didn't have a toxic home environment. It was just my choice to move out. I wanted to move out. That was always the goal for me. After graduating college, it was like I was going to move out. I even feel like my mom raised us in a way of like, okay, you're going to go to school, you're going to do well in school, then you're going to go do some type of higher education, whatever it is, and then you're going to move out. Seeing all my sisters do it, it was just kind of like the lay of the land. But even with that, my mom was like, you can stay here. She wasn't like, yeah, gotta go. After graduating college, so many people have an opinion on what you should do next. Oh, are you gonna go back to school? Are you gonna do this? I think in my head, I already kind of knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how I was going to get there. When I told people I wanted to move out, people were like, oh, that's like the worst idea. Like, if your mom is letting you stay, then stay with her. Even strangers, I feel like a lot of people give you advice, and sometimes it's hard to know where to place the advice, and like, it could just be like advice overload. I was watching a live, and it was a girl going through the same thing, and I really wanted to give her advice, and it made me think about myself 3 years ago when I was considering moving out.
Feeling stressed. I don't know how this is gonna go. Did you know how college was gonna go? Did you know how getting this new job was gonna go? Did you know how middle school was gonna go? No, high school. You had to have faith for it. Did you know how getting a new job for yourself was gonna work? No, so you're just gonna have to believe God for what you want. Have faith that you can do it with His strength, not with your own might. I think you're gonna be fine.
For anyone who is transitioning into that space, this video is for you, because it can be very confusing. So we're going to go through all of the things to consider. This is not a video that's supposed to be like, oh, move out. You know, this is going to tell you the good, the bad, and everything in between as much as I can, now that I'm on the other side of things and I understand it a little bit better. Just because I moved out don't mean I'm gonna try to convince you to move out. That's not what this video is about. So the first thing I want you to consider is the fact that you're not the same anymore. That's apparent, and that's why it's so hard to make this decision, is because the person who went into college is not the same person that came out of college. I think a lot of things that either college dropouts or people who never went to college don't realize is they feel like, oh, you went to college and you got a degree and now you're educated in this field. But college also matures your mind state. Like, it matures. It's a different type of leveling up that it does for you, especially when you go early stages of adulthood. It matures you. You learn a lot more. You meet a lot of new people who have an influence on you, whether it be positive or negative, and you come out on the other side a different person. Some people don't really understand that transformation, especially if you're a first generation graduate. I am not a first generation graduate, but I see a lot of people who have a harder time explaining the transformation to their family. And I just wanted to make this video really for them too, to be like, yeah, this is a normal thing that people go through, you know what I mean? When you're in high school, middle school, elementary school, you probably were sheltered in some way. A lot of decisions you were not able to make on your own. Living on a dorm and going to college, you have a lot more freedom, and that's part of what makes college hard, but we're not talking about that. But you have a lot more freedom and a lot more ways that you can make decisions for yourself. After you graduate, you go back to your parents' house. You're not able to make as many decisions for yourself in that way, which honestly I get it, because you're under their roof still, so they're gonna have rules for you. So, and that also, I want to make it clear, this ain't me put no hate on nobody who didn't go to college. I don't think college is for everyone. I think you could still have a very successful life without going to college. That's very evident. So don't take offense, because it ain't supposed to be offensive. Now that you're on the other side, it's really important to identify the type of lifestyle that you want now. I really didn't know if I wanted to talk about the good or the bad first because I don't want, sometimes when you end off with a good note, people will assume that you're trying to get them to do something, but just know, the way that I put these two up here, don't like let it influence your judgment in that way. But we're gonna start off with the good. I'm kind of gonna talk about myself in this way too. As I stated earlier, moving out and living on my own was a part of my goals. It was like, even in high school, I knew I wanted to have the experience of paying all my own bills and knowing what that felt like. I realized during college that life could possibly get very serious very quickly, especially with being in love. And because once you find love, and you really do find love, next thing is marriage, the next thing is kids. And I was like, I want to be able to be in this moment and be able to experience. I want to be able to decorate my own house. I want to be able to do whatever I want in my house. I want to be able to leave that laundry in there for days and nobody say nothing to me. But I also wanted to know what the responsibility felt like. I wanted to know what it felt like for me to keep my fridge stocked, for me to buy the silverware that I wanted to, for it to just be me. And that was very, very important to me. So it's like, is what is important to you. I can't say like all the good without saying like the consequences that comes with it, because that's a part of living on your own. You're gonna have consequences. Not have anybody say anything to me about whatever I do. I feel like I needed this. Like I've needed it, and now I've gotten to a point now where I'm like, okay, now that I've met someone that would be okay to like, I can give this up now because I've experienced it, and this is exactly why I wanted to do it this way. I hope that my example on why I wanted to do it makes sense of like the benefits. Is that all the benefits? It really is though, because the thing is, if I don't want to clean my kitchen for 2 days, I don't have to clean my kitchen for 2 days. With that being said, if I don't clean my kitchen for 2 days and I start having bugs, I have to reap the consequences of my own actions. Ain't nobody else gonna clean it up. That's all on me. I always noticed that I was get so comfortable at home. And I think part of that is because when I went to college on breaks, I would break. Like I would just be like, I'm not looking at no book. I would just sleep and just enjoy. So when I graduated college, that was still like my comfort zone. And I would just be in college, I would challenge myself a lot more. When I lived with my mom, I didn't do that. I would be too comfortable. I don't know why. It just was like, it was just too comfortable for me there. I didn't challenge myself there. But in college, I actively challenged myself and was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Even though I'm scared to do it, I'm gonna do it. But at home, I would be like, I'm going to sleep. That was actually a really, really big part of why I wanted to move out, because I'm like, I'm not gonna reach my full potential here because I'm too happy here. I'm too comfortable here. So now we're going to talk about the bad, which I kind of did talk about with the good. We can't talk about the bad without stating the obvious. The state of the economy, pretty insane right now. Gas prices are up. And the thing about bills is, my mom says as always, and she said it from the jump, the thing about bills is bills don't stop. They're going to keep coming. They're going to keep coming. So if you're the type that's like, oh, I'm going to quit my job. If they start treating me the type of way, I'm quitting my job in 2.5 seconds. Make sure you find a job that you actually like. You are truly, truly responsible for yourself in every possible way. When you sign your lease and all of that legal information is on you. It's not on nobody else. That's your name being put on the lease. It's like, it actually is that serious. But the next thing is loneliness and like adjusting to a new space. I want you to consider your personality. All throughout college, I had a roommate, and I wanted a break from some roommates. Man, I am an introvert. I did have a couple friends being like, we could, be roommates. But in my head, I was like, that ain't gonna be a good idea for me right now. I thought I was just an introvert and didn't want a lot of friends. I would still say I don't have to have a lot of friends, but I've definitely have hung out with friends 10 times more than I did in college, because for me, coming back to my dorm and having a roommate there was very draining to me. And it was nothing against the roommates. they were pretty chill, but it was just them being there was just, it was too much for me as an introvert. Your home would be like your safe space to kind of recharge. And I honestly got to a point where I recharged so much that I was like, I need to talk to my friends. And I loved that. I'm so glad that I got to a point where I was like that, because that's been a game changer in my life of like having them around me more. I'm not with them like every day, but it's definitely been a massive increase. That's just something I want to tell to the introvert. If you are a person that need energy by being alone, you may need to try it out to see how that will help your other relationships. Even I think it has helped my love life too, because I've just had more energy for that, a lot of time to heal from other past wounds from being able to come home and really truly recharge. But if you are an extrovert, I'm not going to speak too much on this because I'm not an extrovert, but from new friends that I have met, they have said they didn't really like living alone, so they would try to find a lot of people to like befriend because it just wasn't a good fit for them. So that's something to consider. If you're an extrovert, you may want to do roommates if you don't have like a child or anything. But if you're an introvert, you may want to see if you can get something by yourself to recharge with. And it has been worth the extra cost as an introvert. It's very important to prepare. Now that you know whether you're going to be living alone or living with somebody else, it's very, very, very important to prepare financially for this. My favorite quote, even with this being said, being ready is not a feeling, it's a decision. The only way in this case you can be ready is financially, but you may not get that feeling of, oh, I'm going to move out of my parents' house now. It's just more of like it's a decision. Because I have a clip in my old video where I was like so nervous about moving out, but part of me knew that it was time. I don't even know how I knew, but I knew it was time, and it was the right time for me to move out. Right out of college, it took me 6 months to get a job. Make sure that you actually have a job before moving out. It may not even be a job in your field. That's the normal thing. A lot of people are not able to get a job in their field, but make sure it's a stable job with stable income. I was ready to move out right after I got my job, and my mom was like, give it a minute. And she was right about that too. I needed to make sure that this was a job I wanted to stay at least get past your probation period, because they may not want you anymore. You just never know. Just make sure that's really secure. Building an emergency fund is really important. That's part of like the saving thing. You will have rainy days. You will have things happen. That's the most annoying part of it all. It honestly is so fun to be able to have the freedom to do what you want. At the same time, you do need to be able to, this is really whether you have moved out or not, you do need to have a savings. So things happen. You may get a flat tire. It's things that happen that's completely out of your control. But making sure you have money for the deposit, application fee. They may even make you pay first month's rent. You never know. Making sure you have all the money for that. If you're struggling to find the money for that, it's not time for you to move out. You need to save a little bit longer. And on top of that, you also want to make sure you have money to pay for furniture, because you don't know, is the person that you're living with, are they allowing you to take the bed, the couch, whatever they're not allowing you to pay for, you're probably going to have to pay for it yourself. So you want to make sure you have money for that. And trust me, my mom also told me this, you don't want to have those extra bills of paying off a couch. No. And I was able to pay for this couch right out, and I didn't have to like pay any bills or anything. It really is important, especially if you're given the opportunity to stay at home. Use that time to prepare. You can really get wrapped up in, oh, don't move out. Oh, do move out. Oh, don't move out. Oh, do move out. Everybody just has a different opinion because everybody has experienced different things. But who are you? Because that person may have been in a toxic relationship, moved in with their partner, and now they're telling you, no, don't do this, no, don't do that. But you and your partner are healthy and it would be fine. So you really got to filter it out. Okay, now I'm going to end off with some really important things to help you filter out the advice that you're given. 1, the economy has changed. It's the truth. It's not a thing to make you scared. It's more of a thing to make you aware. I know I sound like a parent. No, but truly though. Number 2 is staying home is not automatically a failure. So don't feel like If you're gonna sleep at night and you're feeling like, I really just want to stay home, everybody telling me that I should move out, but my parents are okay with it, or the person that I live with is okay with it, stay at home. Like, what they gonna do? Like, no. The third thing is, moving out is not a complete success, but it has its benefits for sure. I do not regret my decision of moving out, and it really has helped me grow in a lot of areas, actually. I'm just now thinking about I've grown so much, and not to say I wouldn't have grown at all in my parents' house, but I knew it wouldn't be as much as I have today. Number 4 is, I want you to think about your lifestyle, your goals, your finances. Those 3 things are very important. What type of place are you going to want to live in? Because some people are like, it ain't even got to be that fancy. What do you want that really to look like? Or with your lifestyle, do you prefer being able to come home to a meal already cooked by your mom? What do you really want? Something that my dad has always told me is, especially when becoming an adult, is you have to make the decision that you want to make, because it is your life. It's not anyone else's life. Because when you on your deathbed, are you gonna look back and be like, oh, I wish I would have lived alone and had that experience? Or are you gonna be like, I wish I would have stayed with my mom longer so that I could have saved up and traveled the world? It's your life at the end of the day. Really, from this video, what I really wanted people to take away, especially if you're entering adulthood, which I'm still a new adult too, this is just something that I learned, but whatever decision you make, you're always going to have, I have so many people giving me advice all the time, and I really appreciate it. With that still being true, I also feel like a lot of times I have to filter out advice to figure out what's really the best decision for me, because it's my life. So don't just go with what people are saying, go with what you want to do. Once you lay that head down at night and you're thinking about your life, which I know you do, you're thinking about the things that you want, you're praying about the things that you want, what do you want to do? Do you want to move out? Also, you should watch my looking for an apartment video if you're in this phase of your life, if you're looking to move out, because I think I'll really like that vlog if you want to watch it.